I mean, if you're thinking about just sheer size of the map, it's actually the same size as the other ones, okay? Just in terms of the map. However, there is much more to explore than in the previous game. How come? Because even if the overall size of the map is the same, the landmass is much more. We have changed the approach we follow to form the world, and whereas in all of the previous game we have an islands approach, so little islet, archipelago, Just Cause 4 comes with this imposing single landmass. And it makes for a lot of novelty. First, in terms of variety, because there's more space that we can play with. Second, it works much better with what we call signature traversal, so grapple, knock, parachute, and wingsuit, because you always have a piece of land you can anchor yourself off and either continue wingsuiting or gain elevation. And last but not least, it really fosters the sense of exploration. I say that this big landmass is positively overwhelming. So you feel a little bit little, but at the same time, you feel like, I can make this mine. Like, I see the tornado and everything moves with the tornado and makes sense. So, first of all, there is quite a leap in technology in the way that we render the sky. Namely, clouds in Just Cause 4 are volumetric. So whereas in the other games, technically we say that they were bitmaps, so they were just 2D images, and you couldn't really go inside it. In Just Cause 4, the clouds are actually fluffy, they're real, you can go inside them. And we really needed to have this because we want to have a sky that looks plausible, right? So if there is the tornado, you want to have the giant cumulonimbus, or how the heck the real one is called, over it, that moves in a perfect way together with the tornado, that forms and dissipates together with the tornado. Similarly, we have lightning storms, and you want to see at a distance the black cloud there, right? So how do you do these things? Well, you have a couple of good engineers who actually build a complete weather simulation under the hood. So we are actually computing in real time parameters like pressure or humidity and so on to make these cloud formations and this atmosphere in a way that makes sense. We don't tell you anything about it because players you don't need to know about that. There's already so much to grasp to get in this game. But it's just part of the 1,000 things that are happening behind the curtain to give you the experience that you just played. The completionist, I would put it in the ballpark of 80 hours. It's more, but quality is always better than quantity.
Yeah.
So even if it's more, rather than voicing that, we got 3,000 weapons, 3,000 vehicles, I like to underline better in terms of quality what has changed. And with weapons, it's two things mainly. The first one is the whole shooting model. So this is the first Just Cause game where you have a proper iron sight and then shoot. So if you come from a shooter or third-person shooter, you will feel straight at home when it comes to the shooting itself. And I guess you've played the previous game, you've played this, you probably felt it. It felt so much better. We did a lot of work to fine-tune the auto-aiming, for example, and it shows. The gunplay is definitely measured. We could say Just Cause 3 seems almost as a prototype for the gunplay that we now feature. But the other thing that I like to say about weapons is that now each weapon features a secondary fire. And then sometimes it's obvious, like your assault rifle comes with a grenade launcher. Some other times it's pretty funky, like your railgun comes with the ability to deploy a drone that helps you in combat. And the reason why we got that is not that much for 5 powers. Rico, it's quite powerful already. It's again to foster the feeling of discovery. It's because, now you keep a weapon and hopefully the first question that you get in your mind is, I want to see what the heck the secondary fire is on this one, and and try and experiment with that. With vehicles, what I like a lot, we have a new category of vehicles. It's called industrial vehicles. And these industrial vehicles, they have a lot of moving parts. I love the crane, it's one of my favorite. The crane comes with a telescopic arm, so an arm that can, retract and extend. And yes, you can use it to actually pick things and move things. You can use it to build a wrecking ball, but the way I love to use it is to use this retractable arm to punch things.
Okay.
I really love it. Another thing, we have doubled down on the concept of vehicles inside which you can put other vehicles, because people love the cargo container and just go straight to do that. So now we actually have also trucks, your bag can open and you can load things inside. We have a giant freight boat that you can load with whatever gets in your mind. And we also do have a microjet with retractable wings. Why? Because this way you can retract the wing, you can fit it inside the cargo plane. Then you can fly the cargo plane. You can get inside your cargo and take off the microjet from the cargo plane. Why should you do that? Just cause. So if you consider everything, so you consider that you have 3 attachments that and 3 loadouts, and that each loadouts can have either 1, 2, or 3 attachments at the same time, and each attachment can have 3 different levels of strength. So you've got your low, your standard, your high, and each attachment can be mapped to a different way of controlling it. It can either act automatically as soon as you deploy the tether, or you can have it on a tap of a button, or you can have it on a hold of a button. And on top of that, you consider that you have overall 14 mods, and each mod some mods are binary, so yes or no, but some mods have more than one option. For example, destructibility of the balloon for the airlifter. You can set it that it's vulnerable to anything. You can set it that it's vulnerable only to your fire, but immune to enemy bullets, or that it's indestructible, right? So if you put all of those things together, you get to a number that goes past 4 millions. So what's interesting here is that this is the first time where we go past the cliche of the dictator di Ravello or Salvador Mendoza or Baby Panay. So the person who really is much smarter than the people that we've seen before, and it comes from he has an economic mind, he comes from an industry background, and he really is not that much to oppression. So you don't see the black hand on the road beating people, because what he uses is deception. He lets people believe that they live in the best possible world. There is work for everybody in Solis, because he keeps, when they say people with a full stomach don't make revolutions. That's true for everybody, apart from this little splinter cell of, renegade, if you want, that live in El Abismo. We call it the slum bridge, so it is basically the slumville built within a bridge. They are quite a minority, and when Rico arrives, he marries their cause and starts to show people the actual truth behind the veil of illusion that Gustavo Spinoza has put on their eyes. We have actually in the studio, we have these days, we just let people do crazy things and crazy prototype, and sometimes did just cause VR, and the prototypes pretty promising, and now it's just a matter of convincing our publisher to fund it. That's it. The release date is very soon, it's the 4th of December, and the game is going to be available on PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4. I hope you'll have a lot of fun with the game, and can't wait to see what you make with it.